Good evening. I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the May 11th business meeting for the Milford Board of Education. If we could stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome. For the record, Mrs. Griffin, can you let the record show that Mr. Baselli is ill, so he won't be here tonight? And Dr. Goldworkin indicated she had a prior commitment. We'll try to be here, but she'll be late if she's able to get here, obviously. And board members, Ms. LaSala is ill as well, so the instructional update review of the Next Generation Science Standards is going to be removed from the agenda and will be postponed to a date to be determined. There's a lot of stuff going around, so. I'll turn.
Hopefully it's not spreading here.
Yes, I hope so too. Turn the meeting over to Dr. Fieser for student and staff recognition.
Thank you, Mrs. Fun. This is always a really special part of the meeting where we recognize special individuals, students, and as well as other members, sometimes of the community. And so I'm going to begin by asking Mr. Rowe to come up and see where you went, Jay. Come on up. I don't know how many of you know who Jay Rowe is. Former student at Foreign High School, also who went to, I think, Penn Meadow.
Yeah.
So let me talk with you a little bit about Jay. He is a lifelong Milford resident who has met great success as a world-renowned jazz musician. Circling the globe with the elite in the world of jazz, Jay has performed his craft in South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and of course throughout the U.S. As a solo artist, he has recorded and released 5 CDs, including the very successful Live at Daniel Street in 2011. While Jay has enjoyed great success in the world of jazz, he never forgot that his journey started right here in Milford at Penn Meadow Elementary School and later at Foreign High School. Back in the spring of 2003, Jay wanted to thank the educators who helped him at the beginning of his journey, and as a result, he founded the annual Smooth Jazz for Scholars Benefit Concert. And since then, he has held the Smooth Jazz for Scholars concert every year for the past 13 years. This high-profile event draws jazz enthusiasts from a wide geographical region, with many fans coming from out of state. Since its inception, Jay has donated tens of thousands of dollars for the benefit of the Milford Public Schools music program. In fact, I think before the concert this year, it was over $50,000 that he's donated for the music programs in the Milford Public Schools.
58.
Is it 58? Thank you.
I didn't need this.
So I had the opportunity to attend this year's concert, and I have to tell you, I mean, it was just fabulous. I'm not a musician, I'm not a jazz person, but I was jazzed, and the audience, it was just incredible. I went on Friday night. I mean, they were just, you know, they were so excited. People were dancing in the aisles. There were standing ovations. The music was just, and there's no breaks. You just go straight through, like 3 hours straight of one music. It's incredible. And Jay asked if he could come this evening because he's going to, once again, I think, give back to the schools, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to speak.
Yeah, you know, I'll briefly speak. You know, it's always a pleasure to be able to bring a great show back here to Milford. So, you know, I feel fortunate to be able to do that. You know, and I want to just briefly thank you know, some of the sponsors. Colonial Toyota has been on board, Milford Bank, Barrett Outdoor Communications, Briar Patch, the Briar Patch Fisheries, they've been on board as a sponsor. So it feels great to be able to do this every year here in Milford. You know, a lot of times people have to go to New Haven to see a show of this caliber, and I'm just happy to continue to bring it here. and have the kids be involved as well. That's always a great part of it for me, too, so.
Which means that, I know that West Shores.
Yep, the West Shore Band was performed on Saturday, and the Foreign High Chorus always performed. And let me see, Friday, we didn't have anybody on Friday. We were missing, I forget what happened Friday, but I think one of the bands wasn't available. But we always extend that invitation, you know, to all the, you know, any of the students and who are interested in performing, and you know, it's a great thing.
So when they perform, they're performing with pretty much world-renowned musicians.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which is that's the incredible thing.
Yeah, and they get to watch, you know, they come in early and watch the sound check and rehearsal, and so they get some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, too, that no one else gets, for better or for worse. But mostly it's good. We're a pretty well-oiled machine now, so all that stuff goes really smoothly, and it's great for the kids to really watch, you know, a lot of these, to see how these, you know, musicians do what they do, and see the process of rehearsing and all that sort of thing. I think that's pretty valuable, you know, for, you know, it was valuable for me as a kid growing up, and I think it continues to be, you know, valuable for our students here in this community today, so.
So with that, I think you have a presentation to make.
Yeah. Yeah, for this year's show, I am proud to donate $8,000 back to the public school system music. Oh, my pleasure. All right, yeah.
Okay, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thanks. We purchase musical instruments.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, the money really does go
Yeah.
to helping the music departments across the system.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting.
Great. Well, it's my pleasure to keep doing it. So.
Thank you so much. Where are you
All right.
traveling to next?
A lot of local stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on, you know, up and down the East Coast for the summer, and I'll be out in the Midwest a little bit. I think I'm in Detroit, of all places, 3 times between August and September. So, in Canada, going to Canada, August 2nd. No Tokyo this year, at least not yet.
That's great. That's terrific. Well, thank you so much again. Thank you for bringing the music here, and then thank you for this incredible donation.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thanks, Jay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Keep on playing.
All right.
So now we're going to move to student recognitions, and we have some really special students to recognize this evening. So I first would like to begin by asking Alessandra Elling to come up, and Rashida Sami. This is Rashida. I'm not sure where Alessandra is, but she was going to be here. So these 2 students are from Law High School, and actually they placed first in the 2015 Connecticut Science Olympiad Mission Possible competition. Before I tell you what that involves, let me just say to you that Mr. Cavanna is here, assistant principal at Law, as well as teachers. You have to raise your hands because I don't. Okay, so we have Jeff Stanton and Tracy Turcott are here, as well as Mark Robinson and Joe Barcelo. See Joe here? Thought he was going to be here. Okay. So on Saturday, March 28th, Alessandra and Rashida from Jonathan Law were among the 30 students traveling from foreign and law high schools to the University of Connecticut to compete at the 2015 Connecticut Science Olympiad competition. Our teams were coached by Jeff Stanton and Tracy Turcotte from Jonathan Law, and Alan Stern and Jack Connors from Foreign. Jonathan Law teachers Mark Robinson and Joe Barzello were both very involved also in preparing our students for this very challenging and rigorous competition. 40 high school teams competed in the Science Connecticut Science Olympiad. Of the 40 high school teams from public, private, and prep schools in Connecticut, Foreign finished 13th and Law finished 15th, which are great results from our perspective. These two students, as I said, won first place medals in a category titled Mission Possible. If you're wondering, well, what did they have to do to earn this distinguished award? Follow this. The Mission Possible event requires a team of up to 2 to design, build, test, and document a Rube Goldberg-like device. If you know what the Rube Goldberg device is? Can you explain what that is real quick?
It's essentially like a really convoluted machine that does like one really simple task. This year it was supposed to turn on a buzzer, and basically we had to do a whole bunch of energy transfers, like from mechanical to chemical to thermal, and we got scored on that. So yeah.
Simple, she said. I'm having trouble reading, you know. So I'll give a little more detail. The device must fit within a 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter volume, and once it is activated, must perform autonomously, executing a series of tasks, raising a series of golf balls, each of which activates the next task, and through a minimum of 5 energy transformations, activate a final buzzer. So it just wasn't just the buzzer. It had to do a number of things before it got to the buzzer. The energy forms include electrical, mechanical, thermal, chemical, and visible light. Beyond just designing and constructing the device, our builders had to be able to explain in detail each of the science and engineering principles underlying the design and operation. This was an excellent opportunity for our students to demonstrate their ability in the areas of science and technology and to see the expectations in science of their peers at other schools in Connecticut. Again, 40 high schools, and these two students, which I'm sorry that Alessandra is not able to be here, placed first. So I want to congratulate both of them on their outstanding and impressive achievement, and also to their teachers who clearly were a part of their skill set going into this competition. So
Congratulations.
All right, think engineering.
the next two students that I want to recognize, although one is not able to be here, are actually two wrestlers from Foreign High School. Luke Edmondson, who is a junior, and Ryan Luth, who is a freshman. This is Luke coming up. And we're also going to be recognizing their coach, Dr. Dave Esposito, who is here as well. Nice to see you. Principal Berkowitz and Mr. Vitale, Athletic Director, are here in the audience as well. So I'm going to start off talking about Ryan Luth. Both of these young men are state champions in wrestling, which is an incredible achievement. Ryan, who isn't able to be here, is a freshman, if you can believe it. Winning a state championship in a sport you love can help ease the stress of the freshman year, and this is what it did for Ryan. What he did was achieve he won the state championship in his weight class of 120 pounds. He also, in addition to winning the state championship, he was the champion of the Southern Connecticut Conference this year, As if those titles weren't enough, he went on to place third in the state open, which is, I think, an individual competition, if my memory serves me correctly. And then fourth in the New England Championships, which is remarkable. Due to his outstanding record this season, Ryan now holds the school record for number of victories, and he's only a freshman. But Ryan had some excellent company in the title recognition area this year. His teammate, junior Luke Edmondson, who earned the distinguished title of state champion in the 285-pound weight class. Luke was a very strong contender in wrestling this year as well, in which he placed second in the Southern Connecticut Conference and also second in the State Open tournament. He's a repeat state champion, having won this honor last year as a sophomore. Not only is Luke a champion wrestler, he's a force to be reckoned with on the football field as well. Bourne had an excellent wrestling season as a team. Aside from the talent and dedication of the wrestlers themselves, a large amount of credit goes to the successful season, belongs to first-year head coach Dave Esposito. His efforts have not gone unnoticed in the wrestling community. In his first year at the helm, Mr. Esposito has earned the honors of Coach of the Year by the New Haven Register, and also as Coach of the Year by the Connecticut High School Coaches Association. So that means his peers, his coaches across the state, selected him as Coach of the Year, which is quite an honor. Under Coach Esposito's leadership, the Lions went on to place second in the SCC, the Southern Connecticut Conference, and placed second in the Class M championship, which is like second in the state in the Class M, which is the size of the school. He not only instructs and teaches the students the necessary skills to excel at their sport, he also teaches them about caring for their community as well. I should also say to you, if you weren't able to read the note that I sent to you on Friday, the wrestling team at Foreign is responsible for raising $1,800 for the Wounded Warrior Project. They took that on this year as a team and dedicated, all of the wrestlers did, to raising money on behalf of the wounded wrestlers. So we really want to congratulate Luke and Ryan and obviously their coach, Dr. Esposito. Congratulations.
Good job. Congratulations. Congratulations.
147 class, good job. Good job,
I
Coach.
look forward to seeing you next year.
Great job. Congratulations.
And the last set of students that we're going to recognize are the Jonathan Law Key Club. And there are some students who achieved some pretty significant awards at the annual Key Club conference at Springfield, Mass. So I'd like to call up first Alexis Maltis. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Okay, and Annie Camon. Annie is the lieutenant governor of the club, and Alexis is the co-president of the club. And I also want to recognize, before I start talking about their achievements, Mr. Ted Boynton, who's been the advisor of the Key Club for 19 years. And if you don't know what the Key Club is, it reflects the principles of the Lions Club. Am I Kiwanis. Kiwanis. Yep. Sorry, Kiwanis. Okay. So the Key Club at Jonathan Law High School just continues year after year to shine. Our community-minded students came home once again with some very well-deserved awards from the April 10th New England District Key Club Conference in Springfield, Mass. The reason I asked both Annie and Alexis to come up is because of 4 awards that the whole club earned, from what I understand. They earned the Distinguished Club Award at the Diamond level, which is the top. They earned 3rd place Single Service Project for their involvement with the Red Kettle Program and the Salvation Army. They won 2nd place Overall Yearly Achievement and 1st place for their monthly report award. So I congratulate these 2 women, the young women, because of their leadership of the Key Club, which certainly reflects in the awards that were received. And then we have some individual student awards. But what I'd like to do is ask if both Alexis and Annie, if you would go and shake the hands of all the board members first. So there were 3 individual student awards that were also won at this conference. So I'd like to ask Haley Palmer to come up, Richard Ong, and Max Sliski. So Haley won the Distinguished Secretary Award. I want you to understand the size of this conference, just so you understand. 6,500 Key Club members from 175 high schools across the region, and more than 1,000 students attended the conference every year. So we're talking about, this is pretty significant achievement on their part. So Haley won the Distinguished Secretary Award. Richard won the Sandy Ninninger Award, which is bestowed upon the top 3 Key Club members in New England. So he's one of the top in all of New England. And Max won the first place video award. What was your video on, Max?
Just keep up.
But the video will now advance to the International Convention competition, which is to be held in Indianapolis this summer. Again, when you start to realize how many students compete and how many kids are involved in Key Club, it's really significant what our students have achieved. And again, it's also a reflection on Ted Boynton. I want to congratulate all 3 of you. I want to congratulate you, and where's I? Okay, both of you. And also, you know, I want to say to you, to thank all of you for the positive image that you give, obviously, when you are at this conference, which is such a wonderful reflection on Law High School. It's a wonderful reflection on you as individuals, but also on Law High School. And it makes us really proud. I also want to thank you for the genuine, selfless contributions you make to your community. I know so much of the Key Club has to do with giving back. It's all about community service and really giving to the community. And it speaks volumes about really the individuals you are and where your priorities are. And so we really, really want to thank you and honor you for your contributions this evening and all year long. So with that, Haley, congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations.
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 Very good.
Thank you very much.
So we'll move on quickly to our student reports. I think Warren High School goes first this year. Shayna and Tyler.
Tyler's not here. He's coming soon. So.
Okay, so you want to go? Are you offering to go first?
Yeah, we are.
All right, so we'll have Jonathan Law, Kelsey, and Sophia.
All right, we're going to start off with law sports. Just recently, this week, law girls and boys track both won second place at, Katzmarstig track meet. It's a meet against 6 area schools, including Law, Foreign, Platt, Laurelton, Bunnell, and Stratford High. So that was a great accomplishment for law boys and girls track. Softball qualified for the state tournament last week, and they currently have a record of 9-6. Girls lacrosse is having a fantastic season. They are now 6-2 after their win last week. We also had 2 students named the CAS and CIAC Scholar Athletes, our very own Kelsey Capazna and also Jeremy Doucette. They were honored for their achievement at a banquet last week. And finally, varsity girls basketball player Erin Saley was named All-State last month, which is a great accomplishment, so we're very proud of her.
All right, moving on to our club news and other school events. The Key Club recently attended their annual convention in Springfield, Mass. And ended up winning many club and individual awards for their distinguished community service throughout the year. So congrats to you guys. The Keats Club sponsored a caring closet where they sold gently used clothing to benefit the toy closet at Bridgeport Hospital. The sophomore ring dance was a success held, and many sophomores and their guests attended and had a great time. The student government class elections are coming up next week for the incoming sophomore, junior, and senior classes. The National Honor Society will be holding our annual Brain Bowl on May 22nd. This is an event where all 4 classes and the faculty compete in a trivia game to raise money to fund research to fight brain cancer. The Spanish Club recently participated in the Pulsera project, where they sold colorful bracelets that were handmade by the citizens of Nicaragua. The club raised over $500, which will help create sustainable jobs and provide educational programs in Nicaragua. And last Monday, we held our all-school awards ceremony, where we proudly recognized over 200 students from grades 9 to 12 for their academic excellence.
The guidance department has been very busy these past 2 weeks administering AP tests. There is a sense of relief going around the school as many AP tests are coming to a close and school is finally starting to seem over. Seniors were also awarded with a scholarship from the Milford Chamber of Commerce. So all those awarded will be honored at a luncheon on May 29th. We have 52 seniors graduating with distinction this year. And basically what that means is that these students have achieved 200 or more hours of community service throughout their time in high school. So to have 52 of our 193 seniors achieve that is really incredible. And lastly, the guidance department is sponsoring many events for the seniors to look forward to. Those include a fire and ice party, where seniors are able to burn their rejection letters and honor the colleges that they are going to attend. They will also be holding a senior picnic at the school, so seniors can have one last time together. And also our class night is coming up, so that will be our last dance as a class. So.
A few more events. Our spring concert is tomorrow night at 7 in the Law Auditorium. It will feature the concert band, jazz band, chorus, and orchestra, and all are welcome to attend. Law had a number of students who were recently presented awards in the annual Milford Arts Council Student Show, including Paige Schwartz, who placed first for a self-portrait done in pencil. All award-winning work will be on display at the Milford Pediatric Office on the Boston Post Road for the month of May. And lastly, thousands of people came together to celebrate the life of Marin Sanchez on Saturday, April 25th. Peace, Love, and Music from Marin raised over $30,000 on that day alone. All proceeds from this event went to the Marin Sanchez Scholarship Fund. Many of you enjoyed the day with us, but to give you some of the highlights, there was a 5K fun run with over 600 participants, a kickball tournament with over 20 participating teams, a mural art competition, a giant raffle, live music all day, 18 bounce houses, 13 food trucks, and over a dozen local vendors. It was a beautiful tribute and a great day for all. Thank you.
He really tried his best to make it.
Okay. Well, maybe he'll run in through it.
Okay, so at Warren, in our guidance department, recently we had some students participating in the guidance-sponsored presentation, Career Connections. And this month's Career Connection focused on STEM careers with a communications engineer, an airline pilot, and a mechanical engineer who all came to Warren to speak with our students. And we are right in the middle of our AP examinations. At Warren, there are 296 students enrolled in at least one AP course, and there are over 500 tests to be administered this year. And also, 2 seniors were selected to intern for a pilot program at Warren this year. They'll be interning at the Milford Probate Court and the Milford Department of Finance from May 18th to June 4th in lieu of taking classes, so that'll be an exciting new experience for them. Also, our Foreign Key Club attended the district conference from April 10th to the 12th. At the conference, the Foreign Key Club was honored with a second place award in the Gold Division for having the biggest rise in Key Club attendance of all the schools at the conference. We were also recognized for our work in fundraising with the organization Project Eliminate, which helps to raise money for third world countries that have women and babies suffering from neonatal tetanus. And also congratulations to Jennifer Weishauer and Tyler Porcello, the 2 foreign seniors who earned the CAPE Student Leadership Award, which is granted to students who demonstrate willingness to take on challenges, the capability to make difficult decisions, concern for others, the ability to work with others, and a willingness to commit to a project. And also congratulations goes out to Warren High School 2015 Parent of the Year, Mrs. Jean McLenathan. We thank her for devoting a tremendous amount of her time and energy in support of the band and athletics. And we also congratulate our 2015 Foreign Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Susan Tummins, who is a dedicated teacher in the Family and Consumer Sciences Department. And the annual high school art show is opening this Thursday, May 14th, right here at Parsons. And all are welcome to the opening ceremony, but if you aren't able to make it on the 14th, it will remain until May 27th. And also, Mr. Dillon's video production crew and Mrs. Pellegrino's library research are working on a very cool project with the Friends of Milford Library's Oral History Project. Ann Bolden, president of the Friends of Milford Library, has worked closely with both foreign staff and students to document the stories of the artists whose work is displayed in the annual high school art show. And also, the Giving Back Club donated to and participated in the 9th annual, Walk a Mile in Her Shoes event on Sunday, April 26th. It was a great day for the walk and everyone had a very enjoyable experience. And Florence sold over 150 of the Marin Sanchez t-shirts for the Marin Sanchez Scholarship Fundraiser. Thanks to the help and support of all of our students, we were able to raise over $400 to the fund. And Florence also sent a team of 15 students who have been preparing since September to the 2015 Connecticut Science Olympiad at UConn. Out of the 40 high school teams that competed, we're happy to report that Florence finished 13th overall, as Dr. Visa mentioned. And we also had a pair of students, Matt Flores and Kyle Lockwood, who won the 4th place medals in chemistry. And also, Mayor Blake visited Mr. Caesar's AP US History and AP US Government classes recently to talk about local and state government and Milford and Connecticut history. So the students had the chance to talk about many things and they asked him many questions. And they were very appreciative of his visit to Florence. And also in sports, congratulations to our winners of the 2015 Spring Badminton Tournament, Hannah D'Souza and Cassie Zach in the girls division, and Dylan DeStefano and Joe Bazell in the boys division. And also the girls lacrosse team earned their very first varsity win at Stratford High School. It was 16-5, so congrats to them. And also, of course, as Dr. Fieser mentioned, congrats to Brian Luke and Luke Edmondson, and also their coach, Dave Esposito, for all of the wonderful things that the foreign wrestling team has done this year. And lastly, congratulations to senior hockey player Jonathan D. Pascal for being named the SAC Division II third team and his selection to the CHSCA All-State second team. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so this is normally the time when we customarily give the students their views. So choose to. Then now we have our public comment time. Is there anybody remaining in the audience who wish to address the board this evening for public comment? No public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to forego the public comment statement. We move on to the chair's report. Okay, let's see. I have a couple of things to report on. I feel like I still haven't woken up from this bad dream, but as you all know, Mr. Cummings will be leaving us later in a few months. So I just wanted the board to know that Dr. Fieser will be posting the position shortly, and we will have on our COW agenda at the end of May an agenda item so that we can have some conversation with her about potential candidates. So we wish you much luck, Mr. Cummings.
Thank you very much.
I presented with administration the budget to the Board of Aldermen on April 29th. It went well. There were lots of good questions, lots of positive comments. My message was similar to that I had offered to the Board of Finance. But since we had some names with colleges that students had been accepted to, I took the opportunity to share those names. Very prestigious colleges. We had Villanova, Yale, Cornell, Carnegie Mellon, UCLA, NYU, Boston College, Penn State, Case Western Reserve, Rensselaer Polytech, U.S. Coast Guard Academy, Colby, UConn's 8-year pre-med program, just to name a few. We had, many students accepted to colleges of this caliber, and some of them accepted to more than one and had to make some pretty tough choices. Right, Mrs. Kapasna? Any follow-up questions that came in from the Board of Aldermen, Mr. Riccitelli has been handling. So we do have the budget vote on Thursday, so keep your fingers crossed. It's a busy time of year for the board. You should expect to receive many invitations to events between now and the end of the school year. We recognize, understandably, individually, we cannot attend all of them, so please don't feel that you absolutely have to. But it would be nice if we could have some board representation at each. So I'm going to send out a calendar. Mrs. Griffin was kind enough to put everything on one calendar for us. And then she'll, if you could let her know what events that you expect to attend, so that if there's anything that seems to not be covered, we can see if we can get somebody that is willing or able to do that. I'll also be sending out, I'll try to do this all tomorrow, I'll be sending out a reminder to the board about our graduation policy regarding our board participation in graduation activities. And I think that's it. That's it for my report, and I'm going to, as you know, I think you probably all know that this past week was, last week, Teacher Appreciation Week. And I think there were lots of activities in the schools to celebrate our wonderful teachers, but we do have a proclamation that I just want to read for the record to recognize our staff. So this is the Milford Board of Education proclamation commemorating Milford Teacher Appreciation Week, which is May 4th through May 8th, 2015. Let it be known by all citizens of Milford that whereas Milford teachers daily work to open students' minds to ideas, knowledge, and dreams, and whereas Milford teachers work with students of widely differing backgrounds and abilities and fill many roles as listeners, explorers, role models, motivators, and mentors in educating our children, and whereas Milford teachers shape our future through their guidance and teaching and continue to influence their students long after their school days are only memories, and whereas Milford teachers keep American democracy alive by laying the foundation for good citizenship, and whereas the Milford Board of Education recognizes the significant contributions that its teachers make in educating our children, now therefore be it proclaimed on this 5th day of May 2015 that the Milford Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools, in recognition of the outstanding service and contributions offered by the teachers of Milford, proclaim the week of May 4th through May 8th as Teacher Appreciation Week. So with that said, I just want to, I think on behalf of the board, Dr. Fieser, I continue to be very impressed with what I see coming out of our schools, our students, what they're achieving, just, what we see every month at our meetings. It's really a testament to the dedication of our staff, all of our staff, but our teachers they're right there in the trenches, they're at the forefront of it all. So please continue to express our gratitude to them as time goes on. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and so now I'll move on to liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports that anybody has to share with the board tonight? Okay, I attended the PTA Council meeting last month, which Mr. Finn was awarded the PTA Lifetime Achievement Award. It was very nice. Lots of really nice things were said about him. I think I had informed the board last month that the PTA Council was going to hold a what they called a parents mixer. It was held here out in the area near the courtyard on the 29th, where each of the PTAs set up a little table with some information about their units and all the activities that they do. And the idea was so that parents that are will be going to a different school next year would have an opportunity to meet the parent leaders at those schools and sign up for activities or see how they might be able to help. So I stopped in. It was the night of our budget presentation, so I wasn't able to stay, but I stopped in before I went across the street, and it was very nicely set up. I think there was a lot of people there, and I'm not sure how it went because I haven't spoke with them yet, but it looked like it was going to be a very worthwhile event. So the council's worked really hard is working really hard to help with those transitions as we go into the reconfiguration for next year. So if there are no other liaison reports, I'll turn the meeting over to Dr. Fieser for her superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chairman Glenn. So we are going to begin first with a presentation from Sergeant Nielsen from the Milford Police Department. I think most of you are aware of the Citizens Police Academy, which you'll hear a little bit more about, but generally that has been an academy that the citizens participate in and hasn't necessarily involved students. And this year we were approached by Sergeant Nielsen asking would we be open to having some high school kids participate, to which we immediately said yes, and from what we understand it was highly successful. So he is coming to talk a little bit about the academy, but to talk, I think, about also the students' involvement in this.
Okay. Well, thank you. First off, I'd like to thank Dr. Fieser and the board for inviting me down to speak on behalf of the department about our Citizens Police Academy program and what we did this year, the initiative we put into place. So, just to introduce myself, I'm Jeff Nielsen, and I've been with the department for about 20 years. And I work in our crime prevention unit right now as a sergeant. I do our media relations, and I also work very closely with Mr. Riccitelli and Ms. Benetti with several different functions with school safety and security, and as well as some communications between the police department and the Board of Ed when we have to do media releases to the public. So we have some pretty good strong partnerships right now with the Board of Education. Our Citizens Police Academy, as you mentioned before, we've been doing this 8 years, and I won't single anybody out here, but we do have some graduates, I think, in here. I have a picture up here. So we've been doing this 8 years, and we've been very successful with it. And so successful, we've actually created an alumni program with people who have graduated. The adult program we do right now is 13 weeks. And what we do is we open the doors of the police department. I'll steal Chief Mello's lines for a second. You know, we have that brick building on the post road. He likes to knock down the walls and show everybody what we're about. For adults, I think there's a different perspective than with kids. So we wanted to make sure we can meet both avenues with that and introduce ourselves. So we created the partnership with getting the kids involved. So what I'll do is I'll just go through the slides here and kind of talk a little bit about what we've done. And you can see this right here. This looks like a mess, doesn't it? So this is our structure of our police department. I didn't want to put up a picture of the police building because everyone's seen it. It's a brick building. It's kind of plain. So if you look at this, it's very complicated. And our department's somewhat complicated. So we take that complicatedness and we break it down into something that's simple for people to understand and to relate to. And we do that with classroom instruction. We do that with some ride-along programs we have. And we do it with some hands-on stuff, which, again, some of you who've gone through the program could attest it's a lot of fun. So between all that different stuff, everyone comes out after the 12-week program with a better understanding of what we do. So this year we said, you know, why don't we get the kids involved and let a teacher and a student come out and participate. There's a few things we didn't let them get involved with. One was our ride-along program just because of their age. And we have a firearms section as well that we do just for the adults. So we omitted those two. It was age appropriate. So the kids got involved with the teachers. We reached out to the school administrators from the 3 high schools, Foreign, Law, the Academy. We also reached out to Platt Tech and to Laurelton Hall as well. So we had 5 school systems, 5 high schools in Milford participating. Overwhelming responses. We let each administrator kind of pick a kid in our school they thought would fit best with the program, kind of do it as a pilot program. We just got our evaluations back last week, which I didn't get to read yet, but there was a mother in here from Foreign that said to me before this all started, she said, my son loves this. She goes, it's great. He comes home every night after classes, tells me all about it, how he's looking forward to coming to the next week. And that's what we want. We want that student to enjoy what they're seeing with us and appreciate that, but go back and tell their friends. Think about that. They say, people tell the good side of things more than the bad side of things. So there's a ratio to that. They say, you know, people will tell 11 bad things to 6 good things. Well, we want the good to outweigh the bad. So that's why we create these experiences for people to come and see what we're about. So we took away this craziness, and we put it into a program. So the adult one right now is about 30 hours. We're probably going to water this down with what we're looking to do next year, and that is to create a program just for kids. Because the pilot program we did was so successful, we want to run 2 Citizens Academy programs next year. Do one for adults and do one for the kids with the same instructors. When we started this, and we reached out to each school to get volunteers to participate, I had parents calling me left and right saying, can my kid get involved in this? How do they get involved? We didn't know about this. This is a great thing. So we told people, you know, we'll look into it next year. We took their name and number. And it is a great thing because we don't have a police athletic league here in Milford. We do not have high school internships for kids in our department. We have college internships. So why not get kids who may be interested in law enforcement or just learning about us, come out, do a 10-week program with us, and see what they get out of it. The best thing they're getting out of that is a increased awareness, but a partnership with us. And that's what we want to build here. This is all about partnerships. So I'm not going to read off the slides here, but you can see it talks a little bit about the department's personnel, our policies, our practices, all these different things. The kids might just see a police car and think, oh, you know, police drive around all day and maybe go to Dunkin' Donuts or run a black and white car and have fun. That's not what it's about. They go in there and see it. They see different divisions. They see the different things we do. They see the officers and they meet them. You know, right now they meet the SROs in their schools. This is one step beyond that. They get to meet everybody. Even Sergeant Hugh, right? We try and get them to laugh all the time. Right. So these are some of the topics that we do. And I have some slides we'll just go through real quick. But history of the department, we talk about the department organization. Patrol division, the detectives, and the administrative division. And a lot of kids don't realize the amount of paperwork we generate through our place. So we want to show them that. Because while they're in school, they may think, well, you know, why is paperwork so important? Why is math so important? Why are writing skills so important? They're going to learn that with us. Police budgets. A tour of the facility. We'll go through the police department. Canine demonstrations. The ones right here, computer crimes and crime scene investigations. Adults love, and the kids love it better. And with computer crimes, they clinch onto this stuff right away. It's really amazing what they do. We show them our specialized units, our canine officers. Everyone loves the dogs. Our Marine unit, our dive team, our special response team. And they get to do CPR and first aid as well. They do an act like that. This is just a handful of things. There's a lot more. So we go through different stuff like this. Remember the person in the can down in Milford Center? We try and show them where we came from and what we've done. We show them a little bit about the patrol division. We'll go through all the equipment they use. And the patrol division is our backbone. That's who they usually will meet or see on the streets. They're not going to meet our detectives. They won't meet our administrative people. But they're going to meet these patrol officers. That's what's great about the SRO program, too, is that they get to meet the officers firsthand. And hopefully those relationships pass on to how they deal with the other officers. And this program helps supplement that as well. We'll show them how we break down the city of Milford into patrol beats. And for those of you who have never seen this, that's what Milford looks like. It's a numbers system for us. And that's where the officers are actually assigned to based on what shift it is. So we'll talk about that a little bit with them. The Detective Bureau, the division night they do here, they'll do crime scenes. They'll lift fingerprints. They'll pour castings for footprints. They'll go through all different stuff. It's a really neat time for them. This is the administrative night. There is some records keeping stuff with that, but also our traffic division is part of our administrative division. They'll go out and run radar. They get to see our motorcycle unit and talk a little bit about the responsibilities of the traffic officers with crime, correction with traffic reconstruction. Again, talking about the importance of education. Specialized units. To the left there, that's Canine Cedar. Probably come out to some of the schools before. You know, we'll get to meet the canine officers and find out what they do and why they do it. In the middle there is it's actually a teacher from Milford, I believe, elementary school. And then on the right is our dive team. So they're going to learn all these different things we do. Arranging this thing. Driving simulator. This, most of our training classes will be down at Simon Lake's school. For a handful will be at the police department. But we have 2 driving simulators, and this thing everyone loves. Did you like the driving simulator?
I got a little vertigo, but yeah.
It's really neat. We go over driving safety first. We talk about rules of road and stuff like that, and then we'll get into driving the car. It's like sitting in an old, like a Crown Victoria police car. It's set up the same way. has lights, it has sirens, you talk on the radio to the dispatcher. And we put them through a couple little driving scenarios just to see what we do in cars and why it's important. And they'll learn about first aid and CPR. A lot of people like this part of the class as well. So through all that, and I usually go out and do these talks with civic groups, and it's usually about half hour, 45 minutes. I want to water it down for your night here. But you can see what our goal is here. Our goal is to create ambassadors, goodwill ambassadors. People can go out there and tell other people about us. With this class here, we have 5 high school students and 5 teachers. One of our goals is to make sure they go back and the teachers tell their peers how good this program is and how the police department works. Someone may have a question about what we do. Well, they might be able to answer that. But the kids also. These kids can go out and talk to their friends. It was a great program. This is what the police officers do. Hopefully, that's going to give a good reflection of us. And the kids they talk to want to get in the program next year. So we're looking to put probably 20 to 25 kids in for next year, which is huge. We looked through Connecticut, and I could not find a police department that does this. So, Chief Mello wants to get this going. He thinks it's very important. He understands the partnership, again, between youth and police and why it's so critical. Career ideas, I mentioned that before. You're going to have some kids that are interested in criminal justice. This is going to give them a good idea of what the criminal justice field's about on a police department level, and if it's an interest they might have in the future, if they're going to college or anything else. But last and least is develop well-informed citizens. And I heard some mentions before with the students who were in here before. We're looking to build good citizens, people with good moral character. This is a place for that. They get to learn the importance of law enforcement, the importance of helping people, and our job, and again, being goodwill ambassadors for us. And of course, they get a cake. We have a graduation ceremony, and I'd like to invite all of you to that, which will be on May 20th. And that'll be at Simon Lake School at 7 o'clock. So our class right now, I think we're somewhere around 30 people who will be graduating. And the teachers and the students and their families will be coming down. So, if you'd like to come down, you can contact maybe Pam and just give your information to her, and she can email me, let me know if you might be attending. And we've invited also Platt Tech and Laurelton as well. Their administrators will come down, which they'll be in attendance. Is there any questions? I know I went through this very fast, but I wanted to get you kind of through this.
Questions from the board? Mr. DeRosa?
Yeah, one question. You mentioned about not having high school interns. Is there a reason? Is it due to safety? Is it due to budget? Is it
I'm not aware of any departments that do that to begin with, but I'm going to say there's probably something, because right now anyone that does a ride-along with us, a lot of our jobs are going on the road and doing things. They prefer they be 21 years of age. We do have some college interns. If they're under the age of 21, they stay in the police department. We don't take them in police cars. So I assume there's probably a liability with that part of them going on the road and doing things.
One other question. K-9 unit. How many dogs do you have in the unit?
Right now we have 2, actually we have 3 patrol dogs. So they strictly do the patrol division work. And we have 1 which was Cedar, which you saw up there. Cedar works in our narcotics unit, but all she does is narcotics detection.
And how does a dog get involved with that? I mean, because I got shepherds, and
okay.
I'm just asking because I love the dogs. I love.
Yeah, what the department normally will do is we have to find an officer first who's interested in having a dog and their commitment to the program. Because it's a training program they have to go through, and they have to do in-service training every month on that. So they want to find an interested candidate first, and then they'll try and match a dog with that handler. So we reach out to different vendors that we have, and we'll try and get the dogs at a young age, but not that young where they're mature. They want to be able to get them through the training program because they need to comprehend what they're going to learn in these skills and come back and be able to do those. So I think typically our dogs range, under 2 years of age starting off, but they usually get them from a vendor who breeds canine police dogs.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Mr. Sadi?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, for you to Sergeant Nielsen. Time frame for this, you're talking now of expanding the size.
Yes.
Time frame, how many hours per week do you expect the students to be doing, and total hours?
Okay, the logistics we're going to work out and finalize, but right now, rough sketch is going to be, we want to mirror the same that we do our adult academy. So typically, we start that in the winter time, January, February, when things are slow in our department. So we're looking probably at that time frame and going after school. So when the, I have to check with the Board of Education to find out the time schedule of the students when they get out. Maybe do a, like a 3:30 to a 5 or something like that.
Okay,
Two
so it's
and a half
going to be
hour
after
window.
the school hours,
It'll be an after-school program, yes.
and who bears the cost of transportation?
The transportation, we'll have to work out and see if parents can do that. But that's something we will work out with everybody. And as far as the funds for the program, our police union, we have a police and youth account through our police union. They're actually going to fund anything we need for this as far as materials and stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice, that's nice. Other questions, Mrs. Federico?
Through you, Madam Chair. I don't know if you said this before and I missed it. What's the grade level that you're targeting? High school?
We're looking at high school,
Just
strictly high school.
Freshmen through
Freshmen
senior?
through seniors, yes.
Okay. And you're talking about 20 to 25 students next year. If you have more than 25 interested, will you use some kind of criteria to select?
We could probably look, I would think just offhand with that, maybe look at how many seniors we have, how many juniors, how many sophomores, how many freshmen, and maybe go
Okay.
through there, because if we have, seniors obviously aren't going to be able to take it the following year because they're going to be out of the school system. So we can kind of put that into play when we're triaging and selecting people as well.
Okay.
Our groups now, we started off with 20 originally, back in the first session we did in 2008, and we expanded it up to 30. I got in trouble for that, but, because we went to a larger facility as well, too. We had it at the police department before. Now we do a good portion of these classes at Simon Lake facility. So, we have the classrooms there and we have the gymnasium as well for sessions. So we're able to accommodate a little bit more, which is good. But I think we'll probably look at that, with the seniors, how many seniors, how many freshmen, how many people in
Okay.
between, maybe put them on a waiting list for next year.
Okay, so you give priority by grade level then?
We could do that, yeah.
Okay, all right. Sounds like a great program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Down here?
Mine was answered.
Dr. Goldworkin?
So there's no fee for the students, is that correct?
It's absolutely free. Absolutely free. And like I said, our police union is going to take up the funding for any, materials we need for the class. And the cake at the end, too.
Other questions?
My questions were answered.
Okey-dokey. All right,
I
great.
think I'd like to take this as an opportunity for all you as well. We've had past Board of Education members, and we have, I know Joan Campbell is in it right now as well. So if you are interested in applying for it, again, you can contact me, and we can get you on board for that for next year. It's a good program, and for those who have gone through it before, probably attest it. It's an interesting night if you have the opportunity on Wednesday evenings to do it. It's a good experience, you'll like it.
Dr. Nielsen, one of the suggestions for you in terms of setting up the time for kids next year, you may want to ask the kids in the program right now what's a better time. The reason I say that is I know you're thinking of right after school, but there's so many kids in after-school activities.
Sports. Yeah.
Right, so you may just want to, I don't know what they'll say, but they may say, gosh, 5:30 to 7 would be the best time, or I don't know.
Okay.
But they would be able to tell you, I think, best.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that, definitely. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the instructional update for the science presentation is going to be put off to another
Right,
meeting.
and Mrs. LaSalle's really sorry. She's down, just down.
Like I said, I know there's a lot going around,
It
so.
really is. The next item on the agenda is an update on reconfiguration. So I'm going to take you through where we are at this point and then answer any questions that the board may have. So you all remember that on March 23rd, you approved a motion, to move forward with a redistricting plan and directed the administration to basically carry that out. You also asked us or directed us to carry out grandfathering for fourth grade students who are currently redistricted out of their current pairing schools. So here we are, a little more than 6 weeks later. And I'll tell you on various components where we are. I think all of you know that parent notification of school assignments of their children All parents have been notified via formal letter of their child's assigned school for 2015-16, the one exception being pre-K, and the parents of pre-K will learn that next week. And so everyone from pre-K through 5th grade will know, but as I said, the K-5 they've known now for a few weeks. Also posted on the website are maps detailing the streets and addresses, so parents can actually go on and see what the new attendance boundaries are for each of the schools and find their street, etc., if they so choose. So that's that was the first step. The second step was the grandfathering, and if you recall, what was the board sought was for us to grandfather 4th grade students, specifically those students who currently attend Pumpkin and are being redistricted to Meadowside or Matheson. These are 4th graders. You may say, well, what about Kennedy? There are no 4th graders in Kennedy right now. So 4th graders who currently attend Pumpkin and are being redistricted to Meadowside or Matheson, to give them the option of attending Kennedy for 5th grade. We actually had 31 students who are eligible for grandfathering as 4th graders going into 5th grade. Of those 31 students, 16 have opted for grandfathering. And then also 4th grade students who currently attend Meadowside and are being redistricted to Calf Pen or Orange Avenue have been given the option to be grandfathered to attend 5th grade at Meadowside. Of that group of students, there were total eligible were 33 students, and of those accepting, 8 chose to be grandfathered of the 33, those 33 students. And then the third group, which was a little different than the 4th graders, this is the multi-age program that is at Live Oaks. We have currently grade 1 students in the multi-age program who have been redistricted out of Live Oaks, and we wanted to give them the option of staying for the 2nd year of the multi-age program because it's a 2-year 1st and 2nd grade combined program. A total of 11 eligible students exist, and 8 have accepted to be a part of that 2nd year of the multi-age program, and then once they complete that 2nd year, they will go back to the school where they are assigned. So that's the whole grandfathering piece. I don't know if anybody has any questions on that, but that went very smoothly. There were just 1 or 2, I mean there really were very, very few questions, but we laid it out very clearly for parents so they understood what was involved and who did it apply to, etc. They had 2 weeks in which to notify us of their intent, and then after that we closed it, and the results are what I just shared with you. The third piece that we addressed is the before and after school programs, and the students that were affected, again being redistricted out of Pumpkin and out of Kennedy. So those students, again, who were redistricted from Pumpkin or Kennedy to Matheson or Meadowside, who took the bus to the Boys and Girls Club and wish to continue to do that, a bus will be provided for those students to go to the Boys and Girls Club after school, and it will also permit their siblings to go. This is all for next year. This is the plan for next year. We only looked to next year right now. And again, these students are redistricted to Matheson or Meadowside. So a bus will be provided to pick those kids up to go to the Boys and Girls Club along with their siblings, and this is the plan for next year. With respect to the before and after school child care program that currently exists at JFK and Pumpkin, and what about the students who were redistricted from JFK and Pumpkin who participated in that program? Again, those students would have been redistricted to Matheson or Meadowside. the YMCA exists at Meadowside and Matheson, and the YMCA has agreed for next year to allow, if these families would like to have their students participate, to actually stay at the Y program at Meadowside or Matheson at the cost of what they would be paying if they were to go back to JFK and Pumpkin for the Milford Public School program. So they can choose to remain right in their schools, their new redistricted schools. It will be the Y program, but the cost that they will pay would be the cost that they would pay if they were participating in the Pumpkin or Kennedy program for next year. If parents choose not to participate in that Y program and want to go to the Pumpkin or Kennedy program, they can do that, but they will have to provide their own transportation. Because when the Y came forward and said yes, we'll open our program up to these students who have been redistricted as well as their siblings, and for next year, and allow them to participate, and they would only have to pay what they would pay for the Milford Public School program. Our thought was, well, we've addressed then their concern about being able to participate in an after-school childcare program, and so that's the option that's being given to them. But if parents want to still have their kids participate in the program at Kennedy or Pumpkin, they can do so, but they would provide their own transportation. All those families have been notified at this point of this. Oh, no, I'm sorry, they haven't? They will be.
This week.
This week. Sorry about that. That's right, the letters are going out this week.
Excuse me.
Can we ask questions?
Sure.
Mr. DeRosa?
No, I think Dr. Gold.
Mr. DeRosa, you have a question?
Sorry, through you, Dr. Fee. How many families was that?
There were total, which program are you talking about?
The after school, with the Y and?
Yeah, a total of approximately 80.
80 families?
Boy, I'm going off the top. I'm going off the top of my head right now, but approximately 80 students.
Okay.
Correct.
Great, thank you.
And remember just to distinguish between the Boys and Girls Club versus the childcare, after-school childcare program in both of our schools.
Is it 80 students total, or 80 students for the
Correct. I was just going to
Boys
say
and
that.
Girls Club and the
It's
whole
a total
thing?
of 80 students who are currently in the program, and of those, 4 are going to Mathewson, and 27 are going to Meadowside. So those are the ones who will have the option.
But the 80 is Boys and Girls Club and the Patty or just the Patty Saver?
Yes.
Milford Public Schools.
Milford Public Schools
Okay.
program. We have approximately 80 students who are in the Milford Public Schools program at JFK.
Okay, but not all of them are going.
Correct. Because some are graduating out as 5th graders.
Did you say how many did you say are? But this is only for students going to being redistricted to Meadowside or Mathewson.
Correct.
So did you say 20? Is that the number? 27 and
27 at Meadowside and 4 at.
So 31
Mathewson.
families total are the ones that are being given the option to stay in the Y program.
And the others will have the option of staying at. Obviously, they're going to be at JFK.
They're going to be there anyway, though. So right.
Correct.
Okay. Other questions? Dr. Goldworkin?
Have we given thought to addressing having equal opportunity for the students in all of the elementary schools in terms of the after-school programs that are available? I know we talked about this
Right.
at redistricting.
We've engaged in preliminary conversations with the Y, but they've been preliminary conversations. Quite honestly, our primary focus has been addressing next year, because that was a commitment that the board made to the families and basically said to us, see if you could make this happen. So that's been all of our conversations. I shouldn't say all, but the vast majority of our conversations with the Y have centered on trying to address the situation for next year. And the Y, came through with, really saying, yes, we will take these students in at the cost that they would have paid if they were in the Milford Public School program. So what's to occur beyond that is for conversations that will be forthcoming. I'm sure in the fall we'll start to, as soon as we get underway with school, we'll start to have more conversations. You know, we can't dictate to the Y. I mean, obviously they have to look at their own funding sources, you know, and they have a board that Mr. Clifford reports to. I mean, all of that has to be cleared through them. I don't know if you want to add anything, either one of you, to that conversation.
No, we've had the discussion about their pricing structure and how it relates to the Milford Public Schools program pricing structure, and how they might be able to, how they might be able to get closer. So those discussions are continuing. They have an open willingness. I will point out too that that the Y has a scholarship program that they will never turn a child away, and they do it really basically on a one-to-one basis. So and it does take place in their current programs in all of their schools. If there's a demonstrated need, the Y will do what they need to do to make sure that that student is not denied the before or after care that they need.
So the conversation that I believe we had at redistricting time was the understanding that we would address next year, the 2015-16 school year, and then beyond that, it would be future conversation to determine how we would handle future years for that issue. Yes, Ms. Federico.
Through you, Madam Chair, to the administration. What are the hours for the Milford Public Schools program versus the Y? Are they the same?
They are.
Okay.
I believe so, right?
Yeah, they are. They're the same hours.
Okay. And what is the difference in the cost for before and then for after school?
We'd have to get that information to you.
And I do understand the position that we're in, and I appreciate that we've got a solution for these families for next year. And I understand that it's really between the Y and the families who choose to use the Y, particularly at Meadowside School, for example. I'm sure there will be families asking the question, well, if I'm paying X for this program and someone else is paying Y, that may seem a little bit unfair, and hopefully we can address it going forward. But as you said, that's between the Y and the families that choose to go there already. Thank you.
Mr. Wiskiman?
Just in keeping with this, as this unfolds, I would have the expectation that the conversations that evolve would enable us to make appropriate budgetary decisions in regards to the costs involved in the after-school programs, both our own and any kinds of cost for transportation or other aspects of this in time for next year's budget considerations. So that when you mention that you'll begin really seriously thinking about this perhaps in September, the only concern I would have is that sufficient time in order to develop some thoughts and incorporate that within your budget request for next year.
Sure.
And so I just put that thought out there as a timing consideration, that's all.
Thank you.
Other questions for Dr. Fieser on this? Yes, Dr. Goldberg.
Can you give me a little history in terms of why Pumpkin Delight and JFK have Milford Public School after-school programming and the other schools don't?
So I'm going to defer to Mr. Cummings and ask him. I could speak, but you have a much greater history than I do.
They have the program because, excuse me, at the time when Simon Lake closed, Simon Lake was the only school with a program that had initially, I think, had been funded with some grant money for the Simon Lake community. And when Simon Lake closed, one of the things we did to assist the families with the transition of Pumpkin and to Kennedy, since those families were redistricted into those two buildings, was to carry that program into those two schools. Up until that point, both Kennedy and Pumpkin had the Y. And we had a conversation at the time with Mr. Clifford that it was not going to be, we were not going to be able to continue that relationship in those two buildings. And we basically took the program that was at Simon Lake and multiplied it into 2 other school sites. And that has been in place now for 5 years.
And is it still funded by grants or through?
It's pretty much self-sustaining. At times, the school district, I think, has had to work off private benefits for folks and things like that, but pretty much it's self-sustaining.
Other questions? Okay, thank you.
No, I'm not finished.
Okay.
Okay. And I will be if you'd like me to be.
No, that's okay.
I have some other things to share. I want to talk with you about the moving piece itself, because believe it or not, there's been a lot of work that's been pursued around the move. So Pat Bradbury has been in multiple conversations with the moving company. One of the big things is boxing up teacher classrooms. That's the biggest issue. That's the biggest piece, as well as the library books. So, for example, the library books are in the process of being sorted and getting ready to be moved. We anticipate that it's going to be about 2,000 books per building that are going to be moved from one school to another. With respect to the classrooms themselves, first thing that we need to is to have the principals let us know where are they going to be placing the different grade levels in their buildings. Because remember, every school right now is either a K2 or 3-5, but now they're going to be receiving 3 more grades. So where are they placing their kindergarten, their 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade classrooms? They're in the process of creating floor plans to designate that. That'll give us an idea, once the staffing is completed, who's moving internally in the building, who's not, doesn't have to move at all, and who's moving out of the building and where are they moving. We are going to be giving specific instructions to teachers within the next couple of weeks around the move, what they can and cannot have us move for them. Give a very, very, very strong message to them about purging their materials, just like in our homes. The longer we're there, the more we collect. Same thing happens in classrooms. And then, we haven't even determined yet, well, how many boxes do we give to the teachers? Because if you leave it wide open, there's no incentive to scale back. And there's also the issue of, which instructional materials do teachers take, under which circumstances do they take them with them, and what circumstances do they leave them. So again, that's those instructions will be coming out to teachers. Our goal is to have every one of the rooms boxed up completely by the 19th of June. So that literally on the 20th of June, which is a Saturday, the movers can begin. It's going to take weeks and weeks to move all these classrooms and then get them settled and built back up, etc. But that's our timeline, because the faster we can get the moving to begin, the more assured we will be that the building, all the classrooms will be set up and ready to move before school opens. Also, with the moving beginning on the 20th, all elementary schools are going to be closed to staff until beginning of August, probably the 1st or 2nd week of August, because every one of them is going to be impacted by the move. So staff will be told you can't come back into the building for until the move is completed and the building has been cleared and the classrooms have been cleared, etc. Then staff can come back in. So that's the plan right now around the moving. With respect to transportation, as indicated, the district attendance boundaries and addresses, obviously that's all been established. They have been, the addresses and attendance boundaries have been turned over to Durham. Durham works with a software program called Versatran. So they've been able to upload all of that information, or they're pretty much completed with it. And once that information is in the software, then they can start to establish bus runs. So that's underway as we speak. And then the summer school, just so you know, the elementary and literacy and numeracy programs that we hold every year for students, and we actually transport students to the program. That's going to be held at East Shore this year. It's not going to be held at any of the elementary schools because, again, we're closing the elementary schools. The extended school year program for elementary special education students will be held at the Academy this year. And then the middle and high school extended year programs for special education students will be held at Harborside. So we've shifted those programs again, so nothing is going on in the elementary schools at all. Principals will be able to get into their buildings and into their offices, but that's about it. And then the other huge piece is staffing. So right now we're trying to finalize the number of sections of each grade level. That's contingent upon enrollments at each grade level. We also have 2 more days of a kindergarten formal announced kindergarten registration taking place next week. We already know that there's kindergartners who are coming in to register that didn't register the first time we had, it was 6 days, I think it was, of registration. So, you know, once we take those numbers, and that's a number in time, you know, the middle of next week, we'll ascertain then kind of formally, okay, these are how many sections there are in each grade level in each one of the schools. And then having done that, we're then in a position to be able to start to say, okay, then how many teachers are needed in each building and how many teachers in at each grade level, which then enables us to then go through the whole staffing process, some of which involves people staying in their own buildings, some of it will involve people moving into their same grade level into other buildings, and some of it will be involved with people being bumped to other grade levels just simply because of seniority. It's a pretty complicated process, but thank goodness for Mr. Cummings and Mrs. Kopasna that have done this before, so they know the whole process. We're hoping that we would have all of the staffing, all the teaching assignments being completed by the Memorial Day weekend. You know, so therefore every teacher at the elementary level knows what his or her assignment is, what building that they would be going to, etc. Yes, these are just the classroom teachers. We're not talking about some of the other professional staff. Classroom teachers, that's the most critical piece to have completed those. And then the only thing that I would say to you, and again, if there's further questions, I'll be glad to answer. I just want you to know that there is a team of people who are just working on this, I mean, daily, and multiple facets of the organization. So, you know, with respect to special ed, both the kids' assignments as well as where the classes are going to be, teacher assignments, et cetera, you know, Christine Kennedy and Sue Kelleher obviously are involved. From the get-go, we have 2 principals that sit on our redistricting committee, Cliff Dudley and Sean Smith, who report, you know, every week we're meeting around these issues, and they're invaluable because they're coming at it from a principal perspective, one being a 3-5 principal, one being a K2 principal. Obviously, Dave St. Germain with respect to the whole move of the libraries. Louis Giancola, you know, is the point person for all of the technology that is going to have to be moved. And, you know, so for example, one of the things we learned today in our meeting, or I learned, is that the technology will be the last thing that will be moved. You know, all the furniture, all the instructional materials, all of that will be moved first before the technology is moved. Of course, you know, Judy Messalagidis, with respect to transportation, she's in communication with Durham on a daily basis. You know, and when Durham is ready with respect to those bus runs, Judy will be front and center, you know, working on that with respect to what works, what doesn't work, how many buses are needed, et cetera. Kathy, invaluable in terms of the whole communication piece, but also beyond that, Kathy comes in with a perspective that like things we forget. Don't forget, about this and this and this. So for example, next week is we have 2 days for kindergarten registration. Kathy's going to be putting a notice in the Milford Mirror. She's also going to be sending a notice to all of the pre-K programs, preschool programs in the city, just reminding people we have kindergarten registration. If you know of any child, if you have any children in your program that should be registering for kindergarten, could you encourage them to do so, et cetera. Terry Devaney, budget, because there's some budgetary issues that obviously, need to be addressed. And so Terry's, been very, very helpful. Pat Bradbury, facilities. He's just waiting for all of this. And when that happens, it's just going to be enormous in terms of the move itself. But he's really got it organized and ready to go. Then of course, Mike Cummings and Jim Riccitelli and the expertise that they bring to the table. Mr. Cummings, having gone through this 6 years ago, just has a lens that neither one of us have. So I just want you to know, there's a whole team of people, every single day that are working on various components of this to enable, for example, the staffing to be able to be done by Memorial Day, to get all of the boxes. We don't think we were talking about boxes today in terms of the staff. What did he say? What did they move the last time?
10,000.
10,000 boxes were moved 6 years ago. 10,000 boxes were moved in that redistricting. We're hoping that it'll be fewer than that, but it will be thousands and thousands of boxes. So that organization. But then, we were talking today about how empty boxes need to be delivered to each of the schools for the teachers who are going to have to be putting their, packing up their classroom. Where do you store those empty boxes? And because school is going on, So it's just lots and lots and lots of details, and thank goodness there's lots of people who, have that laser kind of technical, task orientation, and then there's the people that are looking at it in terms of the more global and looking ahead and seeing the connections, et cetera. So it's a good team of people, and I just wanted to really recognize them. Even Eileen Faustish in terms of the food service, because there's going to be shifts now that there's K-5, pre-K through 5 in more schools, and that's an impact in terms of food service in each of the schools. So, did I leave anything out? Yeah. Questions?
Mr. Wiskman?
Just a note of a little concern. Having gone through the regular summer process at another district numerous times, I know that the summer is a chaotic time where buildings are emptied out and rooms are all cleaned and then they're all put back together again, and the last thing that's usually done is somewhere along the line the technology is reinstalled, as you had mentioned here. Do we have enough technology staff for the short time frame that's going to occur, or have on call additional help to make sure that we get everything back into place in a timely fashion? Because there's always those last minute things, and wires and computers tend to be stubborn at the wrong time.
We've, what the board knows through their budget process, we've budgeted for additional IT temporary help this summer. We've also budgeted for additional contractual help, particularly with the any wiring that's going to have to be done. We've got a couple computer labs that are going to have to move locations and rooms and buildings, as well as adding a computer lab at Kennedy, as well as smartboard installation. So we feel, but from a budget perspective, we'll have the funding to support the structures. We're also going to have to work with our maintenance crews, particularly the building-based custodial staffs, to make sure that we're following them as they complete rooms. So that making sure that after they've completed, when we go around plugging everything in. I mean, our fundamental goal, as I said before, is on day one that the teachers report and day one when the kids come in, other than the fact that people are in different buildings, everything's got to work, the libraries have to open, buses have to run on time. I mean, you know, we deal with everything on the first day of school as it is, but we can't have anything exceptional because we've reconfigured the school system. It was our goal 5 years ago, it's our goal this year. So we're going to make sure that these things get done. And, you know, as the board knows, it may require some overtime here and there, but we'll get it done.
Other questions? Mrs. Federico?
Madam Chair, through you. I have a question that goes back to the beginning of your report. And by the way, thank you for all of the detail and all of your thoroughness and dedication. I had several questions that were answered along the way. But I do want to come back to this one. When you gave us the update on the grandfathering of the students at JFK, and that there were 31 eligible and only 16 that chose to stay at JFK, or to attend JFK,
Right.
And stay within their pair. I remember during our redistricting discussions, we had talked about pre-K classrooms at JFK, and that if all of the eligible students chose to be grandfathered at JFK, there would not be room for pre-K. So I'm wondering with the 16, I don't know if it's too early to determine that, or if we've made a decision about whether or not there'll be pre-K at JFK.
There are two classes.
There are two?
Two pre-Ks.
There's room. Okay, great. Thank you. And are all the other pre-K schools the same as what we had discussed?
No, the pre-K are going to be next year at Kennedy, Orange Ave, Orchard Hills, and Live Oaks.
Okay.
I think we originally had identified Captain Meadow, but it's going to be Live Oaks instead.
Okay.
Other questions? When you say pre-K at those 4 schools, which, are you talking, which pre-K classes are you talking about? Mathewson will still have some self-contained classrooms. They might not be pre-K, but.
Of the pre-Ks, the 4 buildings will house the 11 pre-K, including that number is the self-contained pre-K class.
Okay. All right. Other questions? Okay.
The next item on the agenda is the Human Resources Report. Mrs. Capaccio?
Thank you.
I have the monthly listing of job postings, personnel recommendations, retirements, resignations, terminations, and stipend appointments, but I just wanted to point out a couple things. First of all, you could say that the job posting list has grown since prior months, but I do want to mention that this is just a snapshot in time. It's already changed probably 5 times since I put this together last week. So it's a moving target this time of year, and we are making some progress with it. We have hired our first teacher. I also just wanted to mention that under the retirements, I'll try to report how many retirements we've received so far. We just have 4 at this point. And what's kind of confusing is we had 4 other retirements, so we have 4 that are leaving the end of the school year, but mid-year we also had 4 other retirements, which is kind of strange. That doesn't happen very typically. So there's a total of 8, even though 4 have already left. So I'll try to keep you posted on that progress in each month.
Questions for Mrs. Kapazna? Mr. Sadi?
Madam Chair, through you to Mrs. Kapazna. On page 5 of the job postings, that's what I'm looking at, the first page, you have several listed, anticipate openings April 27th for elementary teachers, and anticipate openings below that.
Yeah.
Can you just briefly explain that?
Okay. Well, the elementary teachers, we anticipate having some true openings, but of course at this point we don't know where they're going to be until staffing is done.
That's starting next year then?
Correct, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Date is posting date, right?
Right, that's the date that it was posted, yeah. Anything that's anticipated would be for the 15-16 school year. We don't want to miss out on not posting it early, but we might not have the exact location, whether it's at Warren or Law, or at which elementary school those openings might be. So we try to not miss the boat and put anticipated, and it seems to work. We get some
No, I got
good
it.
quality candidates.
Thank you, I got the answer.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Ms. Federico?
Through you, Madam Chair. I just have a question about the lunch aides, that it's 3 at each middle school. Are those all of the lunch aides at those schools? Or-
Those are, yeah.
Okay.
Certain jobs we post every summer, because they're one-year assignments. Lunch aides is one, the building substitutes at the middle school, one at each middle school. Those went up today, so those are on there, and try to get, you know, a combination. It could be new people, or it could be existing people.
Could be the same people reapply. that
If they
already-
want it and
that
everything's
are-
working out, yes.
Okay, all right, good, thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a couple questions, if nobody else has questions. Can you refresh my memory of the supervisor of special education is the person who's retiring, Linda DiFrancesco, is that in that position now?
Yes.
And who had that job prior, is that what Mr. Swan did?
Yes.
So, that's it. So, I don't even remember ever meeting Mrs. DiFrancesco. She hasn't really had to come before us or anything, right?
Yeah, we brought Linda.
Has she been here?
Right, but it was, she was an interim first.
Uh-huh.
So she joined us last spring.
Yeah, right, a year ago.
Yeah, all right.
And she doesn't anticipate retiring this soon, but some circumstances require her to.
Yeah, that happens.
Hate to lose her.
What is the web migration assistant? What is that?
What is the web migration assistant?
That is a temporary position we're putting in place this summer.
It's one of the summer temporary jobs for the move.
Well, it's associated, it's less associated with the move than the fact that we've been using SharePoint, Office SharePoint to host a lot of our documents and work groups. And as the district, as Mr. St. Germain talked about last time we were together, we moved to Google Docs. So we want to recreate that in Google Docs.
Okay.
So it requires a person to eventually do that work.
And then the high school band director at law, I'm surprised to see that. Is that,
This is Alvarito's last concert tomorrow night at law. I think after 25 years, I read somewhere.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. And he's going to a different location, different school.
and,
He's remaining in the district.
Yeah.
Right.
and how do you, so current Milford, I was confusing because I always thought that was that the band director's the band director. So does is it like a stipend or?
No,
is
it's essentially, he voluntarily has made a decision that he wants to try something different, so.
So there'll be a whole new band director at law
Teaching
for
band, teaching jazz
all that
band, teaching
stuff,
additional
okay.
music classes, yes.
All right. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so that completes Dr. Kaiser's report. Is there anything else? Okay. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Sadi?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Make a motion that the Milford Board of Education approve the following consent agenda items. Number 1, the disbursement report from Mr. Riccitelli. And number 2, consideration of minutes of the March 30th, 2015 special meeting, April 6, 2015 business meeting, April 27, 2015 special meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, Mr. Sadi, motion to
At
recess?
this point, make a motion to recess.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We're going to recess to the conference room.
Yeah.
Mike, I didn't forget about this.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting back to order. Mr. Sadi?
Thank you. And under new business, I make a motion that the Milford Board of Education approve the working agreement between the Milford Board of Education and the Milford School Custodians and Maintainers Union Local 2018. Council number 4 for the period commencing July 1st, 2014 and ending through to and including June 30th of 2018.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, board comment? Any board comment?
I have a comment.
Yes, Mrs. Federico.
On Friday evening, I was very pleased. I was able to attend the event at Barnes & Noble that was run by the Literacy Center, and Scarlett Lewis was there to talk about her book. Scarlett Lewis is the mother of Jesse Lewis, one of the students who was killed at Sandy Hook. And she has written a wonderful book, and she has a wonderful message. She considers it a message from her son about nurturing, healing, and love. And she's formed a foundation in memory of her son, and the slogan of the foundation is Choose Love. And I know that as a city, when Milford adopted the charter for the City of Compassion, that the foundation and Scarlett Lewis were very involved in that. And I would just like to say, I know that we do so much here. I mean, we heard tonight from the Key Club. There was a beautiful tribute to Marin Sanchez last month. There's so much compassion in our schools and in the things that are done by all the individual schools every day. But I would just challenge us, and I would just love to see us do more, not necessarily isolated events, but to see what we could do on a curriculum level. So one of the things that Scarlett and her foundation are working on is a compassionate curriculum. So that it's not just isolated events that are done here and there, but a compassionate curriculum built into the school so that we could be reaching every student in every classroom in every school with that message, and teaching kindness to every student. I mean, that was something that she talked about, and I just thought it was a wonderful idea and a wonderful message, and I just wanted to share that with the board and the administration.
Other comments? I had the pleasure of attending the Pasta in the Courtyard evening at Foreign on Friday as well, with the different jazz bands play. I was really, we have great music program in Milford, so I was just really, it was very well attended, and it was just a nice evening outside in the courtyard, and you do a wonderful job. So, if there are no other board comment, we can have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Mr. DeRosa. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously, and we are adjourned. Yes. See everybody on. Oh, don't forget our business.